and manage the comments.
Awesome. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. I would call it's a lovely Thursday here in Botswana. Sunny, nice. And we are happy to have you join us again, getting into the discussion we love most and just getting so deep into discussing and understanding why is STEAM education and where are we looking at positioning Africa, positioning our youth, and what are the benefits that we can leverage on? So I'm joined by Miss Paula, all the way from far away place, and I will let Miss Paula come in and introduce herself. Good to see you, Miss Paula. Please introduce yourself.
It's good to see you too, Miss Sally. So my name is Paula. My name is Marjorie Norales. Everybody that knows me professionally and personally call me Paula. Long story. Yeah, that's a story for another time. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I just wanted everyone in the studio to know thank you for stopping by, for having this conversation with us, and for getting what we hope is a better understanding and understanding of why STEAM education is so important, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. So I'm a little late. I'm running in. I'm in Belize, by the way. So that's in Central America. It is a really tiny country. We have less than 500,000 people. I am Garifuna, so I am considered an indigenous person. We got to this part of the world in the 1300s from Mali, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I love the work that we're doing, and I love what Destination Imagination is doing on the African continent. So, Miss Sally, are we going to get started? You know me, you have to put a rein around me.
we happy to let you go. I mean, that's what we love. That's what we miss about you, the energy you bring. And let's just give Mr. Magaga a minute to introduce himself as one of our guest speakers. Mr. Magaga, the mic is yours.
Hello, hello, everyone. That's quite surprising. Just got and then I was Mr. Magaga right there. Okay, it's fine. I'm always ready. So my name is Mr. Magaga. I am from Kenya, talking from Kenya, and I'm a passionate STEM educator, and I have that explains my affiliation to Destination Imagination. I just like the kind of change that is driving to the young generation. So that's kind of my passion to actually be part of that amazing change. Now, I am also affiliated to an organization called 100 organization that is based in Finland. 100 is an organization that seeks to identify impactful and scalable education innovations. And talking about impactful and scalable education innovations, where can we look but just where we are today? That is Destination Imagination, which is one of that amazing, indeed impactful innovation that I'll be happy and privileged to represent during my trip to Helsinki the coming week, actually in the 30th. So I'm so excited to be here and just to listen, share, learn, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Hey, sorry, I am good to go, forgetting that the mic is on. Technology and how I love it. Lovely to see our beautiful Nancy logging in from all the way across the globe again. Isn't life beautiful? Look at us. We're from, so far now, 3 different continents. That's super cool. Nancy, please come on board and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. It's 7 a.m. over here. I've been with Miss Kim, Miss Kim. I've been with Dr. Ava. She has a room on Thursdays. So I'm sorry it's a little late, one of the ladies was sharing her story, Favor, and I didn't want to drop off until I absolutely had to, because, you know, it takes a lot sometimes for women to come, or anyone to come up on and share their stories. And I encourage anybody, you should be sharing your story no matter what, because they matter and you never know who it's going to resonate with. And for me, like, I wouldn't even be here without COVID. It really impacted my life. It changed me, took me from being somewhere very isolated to out in the public. And I'm kind of thankful for that. I got to use my voice and do what's important. So that's how Miss Kim and I got together, I think.
And Nancy has been extremely supportive. Thank you, Nancy. We wouldn't be where we are, and we can't keep on doing what we do without you, without all of you, Mr. Magaga, Miss Paula, and all our listeners. We appreciate this is a community project. So we're going to get back to Miss Paula. Miss Paula is taking us through the presentation of STEAM Education Challenge, which we are launching. We already have some universities that are just about to start on the project. And we're looking at working with 15 universities across the continent. So in numbers, we might have about 5,000 students year one doing this challenge. So let me give the mic to Miss Paula. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, again, welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night, probably in some places. And so, we're here to speak about the STEAM Education Challenge, why it matters, why it's important, how the program works, and what the projected outcomes are. Go ahead, Miss Sally. So, what is STEAM education? Who is Destination Imagination Africa, and why does it matter? We are Destination Imagination in Africa, right? Miss Sally, can you make this a little larger? You know, old people, we can't see. I'm blind in one eye and can't see out of the other. And I know the presentation, but I don't want to miss anything. So, DI in Africa is dedicated to revolutionizing education by bridging the gap between academia and industry. Why does that matter? It matters because the statistics that we have, the limited statistics that we have on the continent, says that there is absolutely a skills gap between what is required to enter and to be successful within the fourth industrial revolution and what currently exists. And so that's the purpose for this program. This is the purpose for the existence of Destination Imagination Africa. And so the way that we look at this is to create real-time challenges for young people. So we have children, we have high school students, and now we have university students, and we're so excited about this. And what this does is, and I'm not going to read the presentation because I'd like to add some more depth to the purpose behind this. So, you know, the growing disconnect between university outcomes and industry needs is real. How do we maneuver? How do we navigate the shifting sands of what industry is requiring? What does that look like? We know just from our daily lives that technology is a major player. It's actually transformative. And we know that there's arguments about certain types of technology, especially artificial intelligence. But at DI, we believe that we can be a part of the solution, that we can advocate for this, that we can be part of the leaders in bridging the gap between what industry needs and what the universities are actually providing. Right. So, and that's one of the reasons that it matters. So the challenge, bridging the gap, tertiary graduates and the workforce, growing concern. Many tertiary graduates struggle with job readiness. We have that situation that's a global challenge. Employers question the practicality of academic qualifications. Absolutely. Right here where we're located right now, there's a huge gap between what is being learned in school and what is necessary in the workforce. And I'm sure it's the same thing on the continent. AI's impact. Rapid advancement in AI redefined the job landscape. Not only is it redefining it, it's transforming it in real time. Graduates need adaptive skills to navigate the future. And I'd like to stop right here for a minute, Miss Sally, if you don't mind. I'd like to get into this, these graduates and their adaptive skills. Historical education on the continent of Africa was not developed and designed for the time and the era that we're in. And so these legacy education systems really fall way short of meeting the needs of the transforming societies, social structures, industry. As Africa comes online and begin to take its rightful place as a major voice and player on the international scene, the local and the regional powers and stakeholders, we must, as stakeholders, we must really, really look at what we are getting for the money that we're investing in education. And so it's really, really important for us to examine this. I'm going to table that here, but we're going to get back into that in further discussion. Lifelong learning. Listen, I'm almost 60 years old. And it cracks me up. I'm not a social media person, and Miss Sally is always trying to get me into the social media space because it's important. And I understand the value of it in terms of connections. To Miss Nancy's point, but it's sometimes a challenge for those of us that are older. I mean, we have to be taught how to use a smartphone. And young people, children pick up a smartphone and they're all in it. They understand the games. They can break into it. They can hack into it. So lifelong learning is significant. It's mandatory if we want to keep up with the times and position ourselves for success. Next slide, please. So destination imagination in Africa. We see ourselves and position ourselves as really a tech education company that really focuses on solutions, fostering skills and attitudes, major thing, right? So your attitude determines how you perceive the world around you, how you perceive your opportunities, how you engage your options to develop agency. It's critical. Skills for success, such as critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity, there's a gap for this in our education system, and it's on a global scale. And it is no different on the African continent, in Botswana, in Tanzania, in Nigeria, even in South Africa. So Destination Imagination Africa, the programs are built around building these particular skills in our participants, building resilience, adaptability, and lifelong learning mindset. Why is that important? It's important because life is changing. The environment and the world that we're in is changing, and we need to be prepared not only to be successful, but to thrive in this new environment. So global collaborative projects, learning beyond borders, engaging in projects with a global reach. Why does it matter? I came across Destination Imagination, and I'm in Belize, I'm in Central America. That's predominantly a Latin countries that speak predominantly Spanish. But I was able to reach out, got in contact, met with Miss Sally, and volunteered my time for this organization because I see the value in what it does. I see the value in its transformative potential for this generation and the next generation. So learning beyond borders, engaging in projects with a global reach, fostering teamwork, diversity, and cross-cultural collaboration is so important. That diversity piece is important. Everyone that is different on your team, in your universities, all your students, bring a richness. Diversity provides a richness in depth and scope for exchange of ideas and perceptions. So it matters. Learning by doing is a critical piece. With our children, like I said about smartphones, children learn by doing. That is really the natural way that we learn. And so our education system needs to model that particular model of learning. We need to inculcate that in our education system, applying knowledge to real challenges, culminating events to showcase skills and innovation. And why is that important? Because we want to see the journey and the outcome, right? University partnerships. This is also a critical piece because anyone in our universities, in each of our universities, for you, the callers on the phone, that relationship, that synergy is critical across borders, across areas, across region. It makes a difference. This initiative aimed to promote interdisciplinary collaboration and holistic skills development at the university level, integrating humanities and social sciences into STEAM topics to stimulate advanced problem solving and critical thinking, with a target of a 25% increase in solution diversity at the annual event. Now, this is the culminating event. Why does this matter? It matters because STEAM education skill sets does not occur in a vacuum. Every institution, every business, every organization, the foundational piece to all of these particular structures is the human element. And so the humanities are critical: how we interact with people, how we interact with each other, how we perceive each other, how we share ideas, how we share knowledge is critical. And so STEAM is nothing without the A in it, the art, the artistic part, the being human. And so this is the reason why our program focuses on this. Developing critical thinking and problem solving skills. We talked about this before. Skills for tomorrow's challenges. And I would argue skills for today's challenges, because we can't embrace tomorrow unless we make the right decisions and prepare ourselves today. This is the only way that we can do it. Encouraging higher order thinking and research, synthesizing information, fostering critical thinking and problem solving abilities in students is critical. These are the leaders of tomorrow. Institutions that have participated. I would like to make this a little larger, so let me do that. Okay, this is better. Tertiary institutions that have participated. Below is a list of institutions that have gone through our DI program over the past 6 years. The Millennium University College, Sir Said University of Engineering and Technology in Pakistan, FAST National University of Computer and Emerging Sciences in Pakistan, NED University of Engineering and Technology in Pakistan, James Madison University in Virginia, Qatar University in Qatar, Ryerson University, Ontario, University of Texas in Dallas, Miami University, Abilene Christian University, and hold that slide, Miss Sally. I don't want you to change the slide. Can you, Miss Sally? Thank you. Because I wanna go into why this matters. DI is not a new program. DI has been at this, as we say here, for the past 6 years. And the outcomes are measurable and the impact is deep. DI has been able to transform the way in which we integrate STEAM education from the primary school level and now all the way to the university level. It really, really is important. It's critical that we have a pipeline to your universities. So where DI is, they provide students that are not only ready for the world, but are ready to be a part of each of your universities. So you're getting students that are prepared, that understand the concepts of STEAM education. These are the students that you want, because these are the students that can really transform the work of the universities and increase its impact footprint. These are the transformers of industries, creators of new industries. So consider that. Thank you, Ms. Sally. Next slide. So key objectives of this program. This program promotes cross-disciplinary integration, which is what we spoke about before. Complex problem solving is relative. It's very, very important. Critical thinking while enhancing intrapersonal and collaboration skills. It also focuses on developing learners' perseverance, character, motivation, and innovation capabilities through project-driven challenges. I want to give you a little story right here. So I don't know if you all are aware that this program really produced one of the first mostly female teams in 2023, a STEAM team that created and addressed challenges and won in Africa and was going to the United States to represent Africa on the world stage for this STEAM challenge. That is phenomenal. That speaks volumes for children and young people who really perhaps didn't have the skill or have access to this kind of information and knowledge base. And so what that says to us and what that says to anyone who's looking at our statistical data is that this program actually works. And now the next iteration of this program, really the transition of this program into the university settings is major. It's critical. So cross-disciplinary integration, uh, igniting complex problem solving skills and ideas, building resilience and perseverance. Jesus, our children need that. Our young people need that. These are trying times. Fostering personal motivation, unlocking innovation and entrepreneurial mindset. 85% of employers believe that cross-disciplinary skills and innovative thinking are more important than a candidate's graduate major when making hiring decisions, highlighting the growing demand for the skills our program aims to cultivate. And I want to give you a short little story right here. I know we're pressed for time, but what I do is I'm also a consultant. I'm a global consultant, and I consult with businesses. And one of the major challenges of businesses is really the same concept that we're describing here, is that the students that are coming out of these universities really are ill-equipped in some particular ways. The school systems have not really been designed for this. And so what we've been having to do is to really inculcate these principles in community-based programs. But imagine if the universities can get a hold of this. Imagine how we can unlock the potential of our young people. It's absolutely fundamental to our sustainable development. Next slide, please. So program benefits. What are some of our program benefits? Increase youth employment potential, absolutely. Fourth industrial revolution is ongoing. One of the largest sectors that is needed, that is desperately needed, is the STEAM industries. Research, science, technology, mathematics, and engineering. And imagine for Africa, we would be on the front line. The universities would be on the front line of creating and filling that gap, and really now positioning the continent and your countries and your local region. Once we can help to cultivate these kinds of students, now we're really in a negotiating position for being on the front line for increasing African participation and ultimate leadership in STEAM industries, supporting active citizenship, promoting lifelong learning, igniting hope and global connections. And I'd like to say, to position our young people to compete globally and to be able to not only be successful, but to thrive and to lead that area. Transference of durable skills. Absolutely. Students will gain a 50% improvement in applying acquired skills, not only in an academic pursuit, but also in personal life and career endeavors. I'd like to say career development and career sustainability. You can't, there's so much. Theory of change, preparing students for global success. I'd like Miss Sally to come in here. She's really the educator to speak to this. Miss Sally, can you help us and explain to us what this is and why it matters?
Thank you, Miss Paula. Truly, these are exciting times. And I'm listening to your presentation, and of course, I'm sure each one of us listening, at some point you've asked yourself, and where was all this when I was growing up?
Right.
So maybe we just, do you get that question, Miss Paula? You ask
Yes, I
yourself.
do. Yes, I do. Not only for me, but we're in the community as well. And we hear it all the time. Where was all of this when we were growing up? We would have been better off. Our life would have been different. And so in real terms, it does matter. It has a measurable impact on people's quality of life.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, we are so used to saying it's a global village. But what does that mean to our students? So this calls for us to cultivate students to become active, globally minded adults by providing them exposure to international perspectives and challenges. We have all seen what travel does to us, the exposure we get. We have a local saying that says, when you don't travel, you keep thinking your mom is the best cook because you only know mom's food. Of course, mommy's food is always the best. But how about when we travel, meet other cultures, interact with them, learn about their ways of life, the different cuisines, and get that exposure? So, of course, we're looking at the kind of global village we have, there are no borders. And you can see by currently the conversations we're having with Miss Paula in Belize. I'm sure we have a lot of listeners from different parts of America. We have Nancy in Canada. We have Mr. Magaga in Kenya. So that intercultural connection, that's what DI does. And how does DI do this? We have local tournaments that escalate to global tournaments. So every year, our students go to USA in May, in the month of May, where they interact with students around the world. I think the last big tournament we had just before COVID attracted more than 50,000 students from across the globe. So that in its own is a classroom. They interact, they meet people from different walks of life. Then we have integration of up-to-date pedagogy. So when we're looking at the approaches we have, utilization of project-based community development plan that complements traditional education systems, ensuring that students are prepared to encounter this dynamic global economy. I wouldn't talk about this when Miss Paula is on the call, and I know how she feels about indigenous knowledge. I will just touch a little bit. I'll give it back to you, Miss Paula, but I'll touch a little bit on the impact I've seen as we run projects with students locally, utilizing project-based learning. That's where, let me say literally, that's where the rubber hits the road. When you work as a team, we're preparing these students to go into the world and work with people they don't know. They're going to be meeting them for the first time. You don't choose who you work with, right? Like we always say, you can't choose your neighbor. So you always, how do you get to learn communication skills, problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration? The most sought after skills today, we all know they are soft skills. You might want to call them life skills. We have people who are not happy with us calling them soft skills, and I agree, because I actually think we should switch and call them hard skills, and the hard skills call them soft skills, because they're really the most difficult skills to get. So when you work as a team, DI has you do a project. It can take 2 months, it can be 6 months, depends on your school calendar. So you're going to work as a team of 5, maximum 7 students. So when at it, you're solving a problem, you just have to make friends. You start with coming up with a vision boards, idea generation, project management. You're given a little budget because we emphasize on the use of recycled materials and ensuring that students get to think, right? So you're signing each other duties. And this is a project, this is a challenge, this is a competition. So when students form a company, they register a name. And of course, especially university students, they even come up with an IP, because quite often they come up with something that you just go like, wow, we need that idea. So then we have empowering through project-based learning. As a leading education nonprofit, DI is a nonprofit organization which is registered in USA, and we also have DI Botswana, DI South Africa, DI Mauritius, and DI Zanzibar. And we're still moving to other African countries. So we focus so much on empowering students to transform their ideas into valuable real-world skills. So we saw it like 2021, we did a challenge with students from SUZA, State University of Zanzibar, with Milele Foundation. And guess what happened? Those students focused on the challenges that are right within their community. So Zanzibar has a shortage of water. Zanzibar is very high on tourism. And Zanzibar has, since it's a little island, we have a lot of issues with fishermen getting lost in the sea when they're fishing. Just a lot of issues that happen, just as you know it, with marine life. So what do they focus on? So much on blue economy. So we are products of our backgrounds. We're obviously going to solve the problem we are interacting with everyday life. Well, these students in Botswana, they focused on something totally different, right? So this is what we're trying to create. Can our children be very much solutions based? Can they learn that art, that God-given talent that is in each one of us to solve problems, to crack into our creativity, which is weird when we're told we're all born creative, because sometimes we look at, I would love to be somewhere singing, but maybe I'm getting to know that I could have nurtured that pretty late, and maybe it's not too late. So let's look at impactful curriculum support. In partnership, schools and tertiary institutions, destination and destination content enhances core curricula ensuring students are well prepared for future academic and career challenges. Currently in Africa, we still do DI as an extra school curriculum, but we have some places, some states in US, some countries, and one of them, Colombia, I think Turkey, they're countries that DI is part of the school program. It's done within the mainstream. So, of course, we've seen like Kenya has launched CBC, competence-based curriculum. Botswana is transitioning. So is South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria. The relationship makes it much easier because then students learn to think on their own. This is extremely learner-centered. You are the center of your education experience. Thank you. Miss P, do you want to talk about back to integration of indigenous knowledge? I know that's your favorite topic.
Absolutely. And I'd like to just provide a quick little narrative to explain why this matters. So, I'm working with an organization. We have a project on the African continent, and this project is worth about $2 billion. Billion with a B. And one of the things that the organization is now challenged with is to find people on the continent with very specific STEAM-based skills to take on particular tasks. And one of the other challenges that they're having is that they need people with diverse background, right? So people from Ghana, people from different parts of the African continent, they can move to particular countries to do particular things. And one of the things that we found in trying to source this human capital was such a gap in terms of understanding the contribution of culture and traditional knowledge, because the whole program is based on really cultivating this traditional technological knowledge and things that people don't even consider technology. When people think of technology, they think in phones and computers and laptops, but technology really is knowledge. It's really innovative knowledge that can transform a people, a culture, an institution, a government, a university into growth, into perpetual resilient growth. And so this is one of the challenges that they're having. And one of the things that actually recommended to them was to reach out to DI. Please reach out to DI and see how many students that they have, either at the university level and even at the high school level, that we can now begin to cultivate, because they bring unique skills. And I mean, they were so excited about this because a lot of the students and the participants that have gone through DI, that is going through DI, have been cultivated to thrive in this particular type of environment. And so it so matters. Indigenous knowledge. I'm indigenous. I'm considered indigenous. And some of the knowledge that we have with farming and with sustainability, right? We've been ignored in the global stage because we're supposed to be third world developing people. But I also say, like Miss Sally say, I'm always saying that we are really the first world, because the original knowledge came from us. They wouldn't have found this planet had we not taken care of it and the way in which we manage it. And that goes to African cultures. African people are uniquely centered on the environment. And in these discussions, we don't need to forget how important, how valuable that is, because it is in those cultural frames of references, those cultural technologies, right? Those indigenous technologies lies the solution to the challenges that we face now. The environmental stuff, the water stuff, the, planting and burning and all of that, it matters. So I'm gonna stop there, Miss Sally, because I get on a roll about this. This is so close to my heart. But I want the audience to understand how critical this is. I'm in the field all over the world, and these are challenges that we're looking at. And when we bring this to the table in terms of look at the indigenous people's cultural frame of reference, look at their cultural technology, because some of the answers that we're seeking lie in those technologies. So I just wanted the audience to understand how critical that is at this point. And we can further this conversation in a Q&A if anyone is interested.
Thank you. Yes. And thank you, Ms. P, for mentioning we're going to have a Q&A just 15 minutes before we finish. So I'm just going to take a few minutes as we come back to you, Nancy and Mr. Magaga. Please give us your feedback, what you think so far about this project, and your insights and your advice on how we could do better than what we're doing and reach many other children across the globe. DA is very big in Canada. So let me, as I wait for Nancy and Mr. Magaga, I'll just read a few comments from people. And thank you, our listeners. Liana Saturn, good morning. We have a 1 year cybersecurity apprenticeship. Even though we cannot provide the DOL certificate, we have an approved curriculum we can utilize. Let's connect. We're very, very happy to connect. We actually having a session this evening with Microsoft team and specifically to discuss cybersecurity. And I think we all know what's happening in the space of cybersecurity. We're excited about the whole disruption of AI, but then every good thing we get, there are always pros and cons. Now, cybersecurity has just gone rogue. We cannot provide certificate of overseas. Okay, that's still Lillian. Hi, we speak Spanish. It's fine, Liana. We now have AI translating everything. We still find a way and communicate. You can put your comments. Tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us what are you doing. Tell us how you're appreciating our program. And then I'm going to get back to Nancy. Nancy, please give us some feedback. So far, are we doing good?
No, of course you are. Look, I'm just listening to everything that's being said. And it's really powerful what's happening right now with all this technology and all these advancements and where everything's going. And for the children in Africa, because I know there's been a lot of struggles for a long time, and it's not at the people's hands themselves. And I'm so unfortunate to mention this, but it's government. And those services are not reaching the children. So, by this organization working together, bringing in that collaboration, and other groups and people that are moving technology forward. We need that technology. Um, I just want to say that that room that I do with Wabalaya, what he's looking to do is to have technology centers put into the local like villages and things like that, so everybody has access and get the skills and the training needed, so the women can empower themselves and at the same time empower their children. And we know that a lot of people, in Africa, I'm not there, but I listen to so many different people talk. There's a lot of ways that they're having issues to meet these goals. But when you have these organizations that are working and joining and connecting with others across the continent, it's going to bring strength, and unity, and it's going to give the kids everything that they need to empower themselves and move forward. Technology is a massive, massive movement, and without it, a lot of the advancements wouldn't be happening. But it is a way to globally connect, right, across the world. It's a way to implement strategies that you couldn't do before. And when you're teaching someone digitally, let's say maybe in Nigeria, they could put their product all over the world because they're able to do that now. You couldn't do it before. So this idea about STEM and whole growth and all these things that these children are going to get access to through this program is amazing. And we need children to be constant learners. We need to be constant learners ourselves. We need to Everybody needs access to reach those goals. And I just see it even on the content on Link. There are so many intelligent people posting like all over the region of Africa. It's amazing. And a lot of the talent is hidden. They're not able to get it out. But with this technology, it's coming. And I see, look, Africa's on the rise right now. They're starting to step up. And one way to do it, you have to empower your children. You have to give them, look, I got goosebumps when you were doing that. You have to empower your children because that's the future. And if they grow with a healthy mind and the nutrition and all the aspects that they can and are entitled to, wow, it's going to just make a huge difference for all the future generations even to come. They need that education. They need to know what's hurting them, and they need to know what's going to empower them. And this is exactly how you do it, by bringing it out there, making people aware, getting people on board that actually care about reaching the children, not their pocketbooks. So I think that it's just an amazing thing, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I mean, I'm a voice for Canada, but I'm also trying to be a voice for anybody in Africa as well, and any other continent where Indigenous peoples are. They need a voice because they're not being heard, and it's time now that they are across the globe. Thank you. I'm just helping with homework. I'm listening and I'm here. My 13-year-old's got some social studies, so that's why I'm blocking my little screen there.
We love you, Nancy. You have dropped a lot of wisdom, and I'm sure Miss Paula wants me to shush because I know she wants to comment on that, especially mentioning you're the voice of the indigenous people. Let me just
Uh,
get my. Okay,
it's,
good.
it's, I'm coming out of my skin. It's not only that. And see, I'm excited because one of the things that this allows us, when we
Yeah.
speak about science, we don't really talk about science on a personal scale in terms of health and wellness. And that's such a critical piece. One of the things that I've been finding out is here in Belize, people are, we had the HIV thing for years. People were just dying. They were just dropping dead. The medications were too expensive. The people have comorbidities. You're speaking about hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, asthma, all of these things. And one of the things that we're finding out is, oh my God, all the weeds and the stuff that's just growing around the yards, it's like
Yeah,
medicine. And
absolutely.
if I wasn't fortunate enough to be with my mom is 75 years old. She'll be 75 October the 27th. If I was not fortunate enough to come back home and to be here to take care of her and to learn about these medicines, these herbs that are growing in the yard, that stuff that we call weeds, we're chopping and throwing it away. Imagine what we can do with STEM research. Imagine the medicines that we can develop on the continent that the Aboriginal people they have a fix for everything. Miss Sally, did your grandmother ever go to the yard and just pick something because something happened? You had a bite or something and she had a remedy for it if you had a cold?
My grandmother never went to the hospital ever. She
That's my
knew
point.
what could fix this and that, and it was right within her backyard. And my mom actually had her little organic garden that you can't just bring any plant and put there. She'd go like, "You're gonna mess my garden. There's no
That's my
GMO
that's
here."
that's the point that I'm making now. Imagine research facilities in these universities through the STEAM program and
Yeah.
challenges. Imagine me now growing up in an environment where everybody's sick and I want to do something about it. And I go to one of these universities and there's an entire program here now where I can actually do research with the
Yeah.
local flora and fauna based on the traditional healing modalities that I grew up with in the village. I'm saying the potential for this is global. And because the biodiversity on the continent is such that we hold the answers to a lot of these problems, we don't have to look to the West. Let's
No.
utilize that. Let's leverage that. And this could be such a huge area for the universities. And this is why it matters. I'll stop.
I love it. I love it. Love it. You just nailed it on the head. And guess what? There's so much that's going on. And I mean, you could be seeing a little bit of that. And especially when it comes to research within our universities, we are powerful beyond measure. I just don't know why sometimes we think we have to play small. But then there's always opportunity meeting preparation. So this is exactly what we're doing. We present these solutions to the students. I am not sure we have some background noise. Let me just get Mr. Magaga to give us one or two pointers. I think he's the one who has some background noise. Mr. Magaga, you can come and are you in a busy
Yeah,
place?
yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm trying
Yes.
to get. Oh, great. Now I think this is why this program is here. The kind of conversations, the kind of discussions that STEAM education brings to the surface. It's quite overwhelming, but again, informing of the needs to actually make a change. Now, coming back to just an overall comment, or rather to what is going on here. Um, I am fascinated and captivated by the theory of change of destination imagination in itself, because I'm looking at a scenario where I'm looking and asking myself as an educator, what do I understand as a teacher as the role of education? What does that bring to my mind? What understanding does that give me? Then I realize that I'm in charge. I'm trying the education should be aimed at preparing a global citizen, a student with more than just the history of the home or the home area, but just having a student who can build empathy for different cultures and is well aware of what is going on around him or her. And to me, this is what I think this is one of the strength of destination imagination. In the what way? I realized that from the presentation that has been so well done by Ms. Paula, the collaboration nature where students gather and then complete tasks and solving problems. And I think through collaborations, that is some form of social cohesion, and that goes a long way, not just helping that particular task, but also promoting things. Like when you look at the global, there's so many problems, wars, ethnicity, tribal things, and also there's so many of rot in society. But we can make some steps to actually to drive us to a moment when we can actually bring some bridges to bringing cohesion, which is going a long way in solving so much. Now, when we look at another aspect of destination imagination that also fascinates me as a teacher is the project learning based approach. And
Yeah.
I think from, if I remember correctly, from the National Science Foundation, they note down that the project learning based approach goes ahead into deepening the students' interest into wanting to solve problems, get deeper and get into problems and solving them. And when we look at STEAM education, as it's we don't have to narrow it into the science and arts that are just within the four walls of a classroom, but actually we look at how is it that this instruction that we're learning is going to actually help in as best in the society and the world as a whole. So when we can think about how these programs brought together can actually give us some form of understanding to getting good mastery of our environment on how to make it better, I think that is the way to go. And that informs me as a teacher that there is much to it than looking at it as a teaching technique or just as an instruction that need to deal within the four walls of a classroom. It's more of how good are we getting back there to the how we're making our society. Now, I always pause for a moment and I look at our globe, as you see, the world, and I can't help but think about the global challenges like climate change, food safety, consumerism, pollution. And I'm thinking about how can our education be geared towards fostering and bringing change in that aspect. And that takes me back to when we began, when Sally began the presentation, and the idea of bridging the bridge between academia and industry comes in question into actually looking at how best at our future, our students, how best are they suited with enough skills to be of help in the global system. Now, if we can look at academic performance in isolation, then I think we're getting something wrong. But if you can look at a way of bridging the gap between academia and industry, then I think we are headed the right direction. And then education, we are now going through all the overall goals that actually we need to do as our teacher, as individuals, trying to give instructions and trying to give guidance to the generation we are actually having and working towards helping. Now, for me, this brings so many questions in my mind and builds curiosity and wants me to participate in all these conversations about what more do we need to focus on. Do we need to isolate education into mastering academic excellence and also going to another place of looking at how to prepare people or students in the society in isolation, different from that one? No, I think we need to find a way of marrying the two and making sure that what we are preparing students to, we are preparing them to have a safe, better, and welcoming future of tomorrow. And not just tomorrow, even that of today. So I'm still glued to the presentation. I have questions that are going to come in the Q&A because I always have this moment of learning more and more from listening and also sharing my curiosity in the process. Over and out for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Magaga. And you shared a lot of insightful things, and it's very nice to get your perspective as a teacher. In the interest of time, I'm going to give the mic over to Ms. Paula to proceed with the presentation. We will come back to your questions. And please just get to know you can still keep on putting them on the comment section. We have people watching from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. So you can choose either of those platforms. Thank you. Over to you, Ms. Paula.
Thank you, Miss Sally. So, pedagogy elements. What are the elements of this pedagogy? Destination Imaginations pedagogy encourages independent innovation through elements like no interference and rapid ideation, fostering resourcefulness and creativity while emphasizing structured problem-solving approaches. This approach empowers learners to explore beyond their limitations and promotes authentic self-expression and collaborative solutions. I want to add something here. I want to emphasize this no interference. One of the things that I love about this program is the fact that adults can provide support, but they cannot interfere in the process. This is the process of learning is for the children and for the team, for them to bounce off of each other, for them to learn from each other, for them to learn to depend on each other, because the outcomes really is going to impact each of them inside of that team structure. And I think that is an excellent modality for teaching our people, our young people especially, that are going to be moving into leadership positions, how to work inside of teams with different people. It's phenomenal. Next slide. So program overview, STEAM Education Challenge for tertiary level. Challenge duration, 10-week intensive program designed to shape the future leaders of tomorrow. Sub-Saharan African Tournament. The program culminates in a highly anticipated Sub-Saharan African tournament where teams showcase their innovative solutions. Why is this important? This is important because it gets to put our young people on the continent, who are the majority of the population. We get to put the brilliance of our young people on display for the world to see. I'm so excited about this. I can't stand myself. I can't wait to see what this is going to culminate in. It's fantastic. Go ahead, Miss Sally.
Just know you're making Nancy very happy. Nancy.
I am. I'm so excited about it because I know what our young people are capable of. Given the right tools, they can really, really shine and really elevate the conversation in terms of what we're capable of on the continent and everyone of the descent, because it makes a difference. So, rollout plan, team tracking progress, initiating recognized team formation and project identification to begin the journey. Right? Planning, you have to imagine generating ideas, setting goals, and creating a project plan and timeline. Love this concept, because one of the things in the real world environment, when you move into industry, is really about project planning, rolling something out. How do you get started? How do you plan for it? What do you need to consider? What are all the variables that need to go into that? It's major, and this is one of the gaps. Collaborate and initiate. Another thing that is important, experimenting with potential solutions and working collaboratively. How do teams work together? How do we teach young people from different backgrounds, different cultural frame of references, and even perhaps from different countries? How do we teach them how to work together? This is a major piece right here. How do you access, tracking progress, ensuring compliance with challenge requirements, and refining solutions? This is also a major piece. Metrics. Our young people understand why metrics are important, why data is important, why analysis is important. Evaluating and celebrating, finalizing the project, presenting to an audience, reflecting on learning and celebrating success. That is the close, and that is the key to all of this. All of these components are what we do in project management when we are doing projects in real time in the real world. And this is really the difference. This is what differentiates those of us and those of our young people who are prepared for that environment and those who are not. And so this is critical for the universities again, because this is filling a gap. Next slide. Project outcomes, right? What are we looking to accomplish with this? What do we ultimately want to see happen through this program? Enrollment and mentorship, registration milestones, MOU signing, team enrollment, underscores financial commitment and team dedication, critical piece. None of this can happen without without financial commitment. None of this can happen without the financing to make sure that this happens. And I want to say here, I want to take the liberty to say here that this is really becoming not an option, but a necessity across the board. Mentorship is vital for team support, but potential risks such as connectivity issues and device availability must be considered. The technology itself, the hardware, is necessary, right? Preparation and documentation, pre-survey and team solution development. Highlight early groundwork and creativity. It's so important. Crucial focus on teamwork, commitment, workspace availability, and acknowledging potential interferences. Tournament and feedback. Registering for the tournament is a significant step, hinging on travelability and meeting deadlines. Post survey and tournament attendance, critical piece. Our final phases for addressing potential technical barriers. Not only that, that post survey actually can measure the impact of the program on the participant. And that's critical because for DI, tweaking the program, making it better is an ongoing endeavor. We endeavor to arrive at excellence and to maintain a level of excellence by looking at how well the program is performing and adjusting the criterias and the particulars of the program. Participation costs, investing in success. Miss Sally, I'd like you to speak to this.
Thank you, Miss Paula. So what we do in this case is we partner with global development economic donors. This is the time that we get Mr. Magaga, who is very well networked with donors, philanthropists, and request them. You can sponsor 10 students, you can sponsor 5, you can sponsor 1, you can sponsor 100. And you can also look into, I'm going to knock off the LMS, that is the content where we have access to the STEAM Education Challenge for tertiary level. So they access it online, and of course we give them, we visit the schools, we work closely with them, and when we start with the pre-survey, we get to understand the gaps and more skills that we need to train. So obviously we always train on skills like cybersecurity, research, how do you do research, how do you manage a project, artificial intelligence, coding, robotics, machine learning. We assess, and anytime we come across a challenge, then we plug in and train them on something. It's extremely learner-centered. However, we in Africa, we still, especially with marginalized communities, sometimes there are gaps here and there, and there's need for them to produce world-class challenges, and that can only happen if they get sufficient training. Then we have supervisors and monitoring and evaluation officer. What gets measured gets done, and we all want to see the impact. So as you invest in these students, you would love to know that this is what happened. I sponsored 10 students and this was the impact. So we constantly make sure we have a team of supervisors and mentoring and evaluation officers who work closely with the students. Then we have administration fees. So of course, there's the cost of marketing, which obviously we ensure that we give some good publicity to the donors. And these administrative, the usual fees. We have accounts to manage. We have a STEAM Education Center. We use our resources. We give the students laptops and any other resources they need for them to run the project. We provide for them stuff like stationery or any building materials. Mostly it's the sensors, the motors, Arduino boards. That's what takes a lot of cost within that. Then we have the tournament. So this is the celebration. So the event currently we're looking at the University of Dodoma, that's in Tanzania, might be our host. BUST, the University of Science and Technology in Botswana. And we also have UCT, University of Cape Town. We're yet to finalize on which country is going to host and which university. But then, of course, there's a cost on the tournament. Do you have any questions? Anybody? Miss Paula, Nancy, or Mr. Magaga?
I don't have any questions. I think this is well put together and it's pretty clear. But maybe we would like to take questions from the audience. They may have questions on the cost.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can go. Nancy, you have a question?
Yeah, the one thing I don't know if I caught it. You're talking about the sponsoring for the children, and it is quite. I'm like, Paul, I need my glasses because I read so much, and my screen. I just wonder how easy is it for people to sponsor, or where can they go and get your information? Because I don't see, I just see the amounts here. Like maybe there's something I'm missing, but do they directly
Mhm.
contact your organization? Like, where is that information, and where could people access it? Like if they were to go to your account on LinkedIn, is it
Mhm.
easy accessible for them to see where they could make donations or sponsor a child or something like that? And I'm here. It's morning time, so I'm gonna carry you around with me. I gotta get my kids going for school.
Okay.
Thank you. And that's a very good question, Nancy. Yes. So what we have done is we have PayPal, our bank accounts. We have quite a number of different ways that somebody can sponsor, and all that information is on our website. I've had a lot of sponsorship from LinkedIn, and most people that sponsor from LinkedIn, they just do the PayPal, which quite often we just drop the link. But back to Nancy's point, I think that's a very good idea. I should also put the PayPal account on our LinkedIn platforms. I hope that clears that, right?
I
So,
agree.
of course, yeah, individual donors or corporates or NGOs that would want to sponsor. That's how they do it. Mr. Magaga, you have a question?
Um, I'm just. Are you saying that we if we had perhaps an audience that feel the need to actually support and donate right now? Are you saying that the audience is directed to the website, Destination Imagination Africa website, where I can get all the donation details?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
you get. We have so many different ways to make it easy for people to donate, and we have. I think a lot of people have been doing it through PayPal. I'm not sure if it's the most convenient, but we also happy to take suggestions on other platforms. Mhm.
Can we drop the link in the chat?
Yes, thank you. I will drop the link. I can move to the next slide.
Come on. So join the journey. Tournament date January 12th, 2024. Cost per person $450. Awards, certificates for all participants, medals for highest ranking teams, institutions recognition. Your institution will be featured on the DI in Africa website and social media. And you can contact Miss Sally for further information, and her email is there. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your time. Do we
thank
move
you
to
for your
Q&A
time
or the
too.
question?
I thank you so much, Miss Paula. I'm not sure if Mr. Magaga was trying to say something. I'm gonna, as Mr. Magaga, you can come on stage and say what you were trying to say. Meanwhile, I'm going to
No,
minimize.
I just wanted Miss Paula to also feel the grateful nature that we have. So grateful to our presentation. So when she's saying thank you to us, we also say thank you to you too.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the recognition. It's no problem. It's an absolute pleasure. I believe in this program. I believe in the work that Miss Sally is doing. I believe that this is really a key to transformation. And so this is the reason why I'm part of it. And I'm advising everyone, we may not have the money to contribute. We may be at a university, but volunteerism also helps. There is, send the link, share the program with whomever in your network. There are different ways that we can contribute in small ways, and every little bit helps.
I love it that you mentioned that, Miss Paula. Donations in kind go a long way. Just sharing our platforms, commenting, liking, telling somebody about what we're doing. This is a community project, and the village has decided this has to be done. So I think we've come to the end of our session. Let me say a big, big thank you to everyone. I can see you, Yusuke, all the way from Japan. Very, very supportive, always commenting, liking, and sharing our projects. And everybody else, wherever you're listening to, I only have access right here on LinkedIn, but I know we have people on Facebook, people on YouTube. And we're going to be back again next Thursday. This is going to be every Thursday, 3 p.m. And we'll be discussing progress and sharing on the funds we've raised, the schools that we've started with, and we'll be hosting students that will be coming and telling you where they are at within their journey on starting their project. So I'm just going to give our awesome speakers, as I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. This can't be possible without you. You can give us your closing remarks. If you have events coming up or projects that you'd like to tell the audience about, please feel free to talk about it. Should we start with Nancy? She needs to say to run to her babies.
I got a few here that I got to get out the door. One is in 10 minutes. I just want to say that something to go back to what Miss Kim was saying. It is very important to connect with people. I'm not as familiar with this Zoom one, so I'm not leaving comments and things like that. But I know that I'll be able to see it later on the post. Just a second.
I love this. As we parent, you can
Sorry.
say hi to the babies.
He's that's my one that's got to leave in 10 minutes, so he gets kind of panicky. He wants to go on the bus. But I just want to say that it's important to go and check out after this is over. There's going to be that you'll see the comments and everything, so it's really good for people to go there and maybe add more comments or like the comments and drop anything that they would like to have known and aware to you or anyone else. If they drop them in the comments, it brings more awareness to your site and make connections with people if you see them in the audience. If you really want to know what somebody's doing, go ring their bell. Go ring their bell on LinkedIn and it'll show you. Your post will pop up and things like that. And I just want to say, anybody that's listening, please go check out my page. I'm with the Land Right Defender. So I'm going to do whatever I can to be a voice for Indigenous peoples. We're going to do it across the globe and we're going to make sure that we make positive movements. And this is part of it. So it's really vital. We've got to get our children what they need, the accesses, the services. Everybody's entitled to more, and we're not getting it. And with these projects, they're going to start getting what they're needed to bring their skills. So I just want to thank you again, and I'm going to still be listening, but I do got to get some movement happen here. So blessed day. Have a good
Bless
one.
your
I'll
day,
see
Miss
you
Nancy.
again Sunday,
Take
Miss
care.
Kim. She makes me
Yes.
get
Yeah.
up a little early. This lady.
I love you, Nancy.
I love you too. I'll
You.
see you soon.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nancy. Should we have Mr. Magaga so we get Miss
Yeah,
Paula to close?
sure. I'm reminded. I've been following the social media of Destination Africa, and I might have come across, I think through your platform, Miss Sally, um, testimonials from some of the students who've gone through Destination Imagination, and they have beautiful, beautiful, amazing things to talk about the process of engaging Destination Imagination. I think it will be something really great to have some to expose some of our audience to these amazing stories that actually testify to what this program is all about. Because when I read through them, it's like I'm walking and I'm imagining all that kind of change, of impact happening to the young generation. And I think that is more to the add multiple to the reason why we are here, because this is great. It's not like just talking about it, but something is actually happening about it, and that actually makes sense and add into why. Why does it matter, Miss Paula? Why does it matter? And it's really something that I really want to keep reading and reading and reading. And I'm so happy this nation has so many, so to say, over now. Thank you so much.
That's a brilliant point. Thank you so much, Mr. Magaga. Yes,
Thank
we
you.
actually, I think we should add a slide with all the testimonials. We have thousands of students that have gone through DI so far, and it would be nice for us to get their voices heard and share what did they learn. Thank you, Miss Paula. Over to you.
It's the backstop, right? So the thing that comes to me now, and the thing that is so prevalent in my thinking right now is, as Mr. Magaga was speaking, I was thinking about all the young people that were trying to get on ships to head to Europe. I was thinking about the young people, some of whom have undergraduate degrees from university, that could not or felt like they couldn't find anything to do in their home nations. And so, what I'm saying now is we have an opportunity with this particular type of program, as innocuous as it may seem, to really step into our fold as the education institutes that can really transform and stop the brain drain. We can transform the opportunities for our young people, and we can really begin to stem the brain drain. You don't have to leave. You don't have to leave Kenya or Nigeria or South Africa or Botswana or Tanzania to come to the West to suffer. Everything that Africa needs is there. The universities have a unique opportunity right now to take the lead, to really take the lead and become the global leaders, institutional education leaders on the continent of Africa, and provide our young people with what industry and sustainable development needs in
Mhm.
order for us to take our rightful place. And so this is my conversation as we go away today. Remember that you institutions are in a unique position now to really offer what young people need so that they can become the solution they've been seeking in other places. So I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your participation here. And please know that the work continues. The work continues. Let's be a part of the solution that we're seeking. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Miss Paula. I see beautiful Nancy is back. I think she's sent the kids to school. Nancy, you want to add something? You're on mute, my darling.
I'm sorry. Actually, I gotta go. I gotta drive my little. Well, he's not little. He's as big as I am. He's only 9 years old. He's just as big as I. My kids are all gonna be bigger than me. I gotta drive him halfway to the bus stop, so I've got to jump out. But I'll be back again, and I'll see you on Sunday. And I know I'll see you before then. And I just want to say thank you, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. And yeah, have yourselves a great day, and I hope you get lots of sponsors.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Nancy. Have a blessed one.
We appreciate. Miss Paula, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're in this together. And of course, the longest journey starts with a single step. We've started it, and
That's
it's gonna
right.
be good. It's gonna be good. And we're gonna change the narrative. We're gonna create the Africa that we want.
I
Thank
want to, Miss Sally. I keep telling everyone here, everyone that would listen, I know they're sick of me. I'm just speaking it ad nauseum. Africa is
you.
the gold rush. Africa is where everything is. Anything else is a sideshow. So let's be about that business. You say you love being African. Let's go volunteer. Let's go on the continent. Let's be a part of the solution. They are waiting on us. They're inviting us. And this is the reason that I do what I do, because I believe it. I know it. And hey, Miss Sally, the time is coming. The time is coming. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. And let's get it. Let's the work begins.
absolutely. Thank you, Miss Paula. Thank you, Mr. Magaga, Nancy, and all our listeners. Do have a blessed day for those who are starting their day, and have a lovely evening for those who are closing up on their day like I am. Thank you and goodbye. See you on Sunday. Bye.